Guys, welcome to Match NX, the ultimate sponsorship B2B marketing platform for drivers and teams. This is a presentation all about our dashboard and our main tool to help you find the right businesses and to really get those new sponsorships to help progress your driving even further. I'm going to just jump straight into it today after I tell you a little bit more about us, what we do, and our background. I'm Chris. I'm the Chief Technical Officer here, and I've been working very closely with Dan Lloyd, the 2025 Independent British Touring Car Champion. He has years of being able to find those right partnerships and be able to develop those relationships in terms of sponsorships and be able to find the right businesses. And it's with his advice that we've been able to build a very, very good business database that finds the right layering. So in other words, anyone can find a business database, right? But we've added extra tools to be able to really filter into those businesses that are more likely to say yes to you as sponsors. And we're going to go through the tool, exactly how it works, and how we can get you progressing in your career and getting you into what you do best, which is racing. Let's get straight into the platform. This is the dashboard homepage, and this is the overview of everything that you need within your platform. And this will allow you to be able to see what prospects we have available, how many LinkedIn connections you've got, emails you've sent, meetings you've got booked, and many other things. We're going to start on the top left. So with the top here, we have our data side, finding prospects, your own prospects that you actually managed to acquire in terms of allocating them, bringing them into the system, prospects that you might request. If you've got certain businesses that you need or want to allocate and find, press that button and show us more about it. And if you're a pro driver or a team with us, you get access to our amazing partnership assistant. This is literally an AI friend that will basically get all the detail for that business for you. The first thing we need to discuss, and absolutely pivotal for you to succeed on the platform, is your profile. You will find it on the top right up here under My Profile, or if you scroll down to the bottom, if I move my head out the way, if you move down to Account, find My Profile and click on this. The My Profile section is crucial because what it allows you to do is all the data that you put in here will be picked up by our AI signals and help you allocate the right businesses. So my number one tip is to fill in as much of this as you possibly can with as much detail as possible. So at the moment, I've selected my current championship as the Porsche Carrera Cup. Obviously, I'm not a driver. We're just using this for test data. I've put my location as Leeds. I've put in my date of birth, which is absolutely pivotal because if you are under 18, we will need a parent or guardian to basically assign the fact that if you get inquiries through, that your parents or guardians can see them. If not, obviously, they will come straight to you. Your story is very crucial because it will be the epitome of everything that you have in terms of data. And I want you to really drive on this. Make sure, again, I've used demo data for it, so I've just assumed as being another driver. Make sure that you can get as much information about your history, your story, your everything you've done. Really, really sell yourself in terms of your background. And remember, our AI data will pick up on all those keywords, who you've driven for, what successes you've had, where you've had them, everything about you that we can amalgamate with our business data to pitch them together. The next one down, of course, is your profile picture, your headshot, which is mainly used for your profile, but also onto our marketplace, which I'll discuss with you a little later. Some profile images, you can use these within your decks and your pitch creator, which we'll also talk about later. So again, I've just used some demo data here, one picture of Dan and a few others of bikes and touring cars. Use your own images, use the best images you've got. Next up is your social media links. Get everything in there, that you can see. Again, if you require us to, we can push that information into your pitches, into your decks, into your presentations, and make sure that all your social channels are really pushed through. We can also use our AI to crawl that some certain information from those data points, so we can even further develop that with the synergy of other businesses. You can also fill in your information about how many social media followers you have. The next part is your value proposition. So it's very, very important that you push this in terms of how we rank you in your prospects. What can you sell? Your whole goal is for you to be able to sell yourself. Part of this whole process is for you to become not just an amazing racing driver or an amazing team, but also for you to become a salesman, because in motorsport nowadays, that is the biggest thing is for you to become a really good salesman. So what is your value proposition? What is it specific to your reach, your audience, what you can do to bring in a sponsor? And again, all the keywords and sentences you build in here are vital for when we start building your entire portfolio and help you find the right sponsors. The next one is really clever. We ask for your current sponsors and partners, or what we call lookalikes. And a lookalike might be a business that you maybe want to target, or a business that is kind of like the sponsors that you want to achieve. So, you want to be looking for particular building supplies sponsor because one of your sponsors is already doing something within drainage or something similar. Just put your current sponsors' names in there and their website, and our AI will crawl all those and find you lookalike and other similar partners which can help you get better decisions for your sponsors. And again, you can fill in up to 5, but the more again you can give, the better. You can then in here develop information about your products. You can have up to 3 products with different pricing, so maybe different tiering. Just really fill that in, especially product 1 is important. So we understand the pricing format you're working with, because then we're able to sell that as an item and to your prospective inquiries. Finally, if you want any help with this at all, you can book in some time with Dan directly. That will come at an additional cost, but he will be able to help you build your story and help you find a way to be able to develop your portfolio, your profile on here, so you have the best start if you have any concerns. And also, likewise, you can also contact us through our feedback and our emails if you want to get any more information about how to really drive this, because remember, the more information you provide in this section will give you the best start to finding the right portfolio of potential prospects. So in other words, your potential sponsors or partners. And remember to update this all the time. If you've had a win, if you've changed championship, if you've done something of any value or note that you think sponsors would enjoy, add that into your story, into your profile. So we'll start there. Once you go down, press save. It will take a minute to save all that information and store it with us. And then what we'll be able to do is look at the real nuts and bolts, the real exciting stuff behind Match NX. It takes a second here to go, but once we've done it, there we go, successfully saved. We're now going to go back to the top of our menu up here, and we are going to look at our dashboard again. From here, you will be able to find all the information that you will need to start your prospect search. When we talk about prospects, those are businesses that ultimately you want them to become your sponsors. And our big part, the core part of effectively our service to you is in our find prospects. And I'm going to click on that. Now it's going to take a minute to load up. It's going to look at your information in your profile, and it's going to produce quite a random looking list of results of different businesses. And we are adding businesses to this every single day. And the way that we do that is we find businesses through standardized business databases, of course, but then we put a lot of the extra magic on top. We use AI agency layers to find detail based on Dan's experience and skills to really make sure we're finding the right intent, the right signals, so that all these businesses are more viable effectively to become suitable for you potentially as a business partner. So we've launched this, and straight away it's given me 61 lookalike prospects. Now what that means is the system has found me 61 businesses that are like my current sponsors or have something within my portfolio that makes sense, that references those two together. The first one it's brought up is a Porsche specialist that's in Ewhurst, and it gives us information including the decision maker. So our system looks for very distinct decision makers, not just the boss, the managing directors or the heads. We look specifically for the people that are likely to make those decisions. And sometimes that can be head of events, heads of hospitality, if there's a motorsport director, anyone that actually is more relevant potentially than just a managing director or a finance director. It could be someone who's more tailored towards motorsport and towards business. So you can see there's a few different things on here. We have a match score and a tier, which is classed as being hot, warm, or cold. And the information that follows to us, depending on what that business does, how they're involved with motorsport, potentially or potentially not, will give us some information. And it'll also give us a signal of who they are and what they do, and also an approach, telling you how to approach this client. And this is literally the tip of the iceberg. We're going to go really into detail about this. So let's go with this Porsche specialist that I've just found here. Now, we're going to add them to the system called My Prospects, which is underneath our prospects sheet here. Now, when I click add, it will tell us that it's been added to our My Prospects, and you'll see it pop up in here. We can also look by location. So as well as searching for things in here, you will have a limited amount of searches if you are a starter driver, a standard driver, but you have more searches available to you if you are a pro driver or a team. You can search for whatever keywords you want, location, industries, category specific, anything that you think might be suitable for your business. But of course, our AI system is basically trying to match businesses that have that correspondence between your profile and them. So let's start off with this. We found our Porsche specialist, Cridfords. We found a verified email in there for this person. Now, if they're email unverified, like this person at Back Mono Company, that doesn't always mean that that email is not true. What it means is our systems means that we can't fully verify it, but we use a range of different signals to show that it should be correct. If it's not correct and you're going to bounce back, let us know. It's something towards what we're trying to make tighter and tighter in terms of our processes. But it doesn't mean that that email is not usable. It just means that it's not been verified in the same way that we would classically monitor other verifications. We also have a list of followers here that combines all their social media followers. So if you're looking for businesses that can drive your social media, or indeed, you've got a big social media presence and you want to drive businesses towards their low social media, you can use a filter on here as well. So let's have a look at this. I also should mention, we have different industries listed here. We have automotive, insurance, we have construction, some of the biggest industries that typically target motorsport sponsorships. However, that can be a range of many different types of businesses, and we're trying to drill into those to make sure they're more and more specific to you at all times. If we also click on show within all locations, if I want businesses within 10 miles of me, it will find me all the businesses that are within 10 miles of my hometown, which I put as leads. So we can find localized businesses too. We can also figure out whether or not they're going to be a good lead for us or not. So let's jump into My Prospects, and you'll see now that we've got a couple of them saved in here. We've just saved Cridfords. So we're going to look at this Cridfords business. We know what their signal is and their approach that we've got. There's a few things we can do here. If we decide we want to contact them straight away, we can click contacting, which puts them into our prospects contacting list further down. But we can also build a strategy to pitch this business if we have a pro driver or a team membership. This is a beautiful kit that we have that integrates literally between all the data that we know about this business. So all their little signals of all the intricacies, there's loads and loads of things we know versus things we know about you. If we click build a strategy to pitch this business, and then we click a send on there, because it's basically asking us to do this. And our partnership assistant is the tool that's in Pro Driver and Team. It's a real piece of magic that really looks at the real depth of the prospects that we find, basically. Let's click send. It's going to do a little bit of work now in the background, and we can look at that to find all sorts of different things, prospects that are similar to yourselves, automotive companies in your area, anything you can think of that will help you build those sponsorships, and it'll look in great detail. So let's just wait up here. It's taking a minute because it's really thinking about the data it provides and also looking at the data within your profile. Okay, so what we've got here that is a real big load of information about this business, and we're going to just delve into it slowly, and I won't go through it all because it's a lot to read and a lot of data that we get hold of. It tells you more about who the decision maker is, and the decision maker we've got here is Jonathan Leach, who's the owner for Cridfords Limited, which is obviously a Porsche specialist dealer. Now, the reason it's come up through there is because it understands more about him, first of all. They know there is a good prospect because he has basically being a Porsche specialist, which aligns with the Motorsport brand values we have in terms of the Porsche Carrera Cup, because I said I was a Porsche Carrera Cup driver. It also looks at things like key synergy points, what makes you and this business real good comparative information, really good partners effectively. And you can drive all this, and we'll show you how to do that later on. We'll look at the personalized pitch angle, tell you how to pitch to this business and what you can do with them. An opening message suggestion, so you can say what the information is that you want there about what you do, your story effectively. And, if you're happy to do that, you take that information, and then we can literally use that information and build it into our pitch creator. We can target this person, so we can go to Jonathan Leach via LinkedIn, and we can find other different values for the business that will help us push and get that connection to that business. So we'll go into that just a little bit after. There's a couple more things within the prospect side before we start looking how to push towards a prospect. If we go to request prospects, you can literally ask us for anything. So if you have a business category or an industry that you're after, so alloy wheel providers, premium car care brands, businesses in your location, fill in this form, press submit request. So if I say alloy wheel providers and we submit the request, that will go into review for us. We'll review that. And if we can add the information into our database, we will tell you when it's been approved. And therefore, you'll be able to search that information in the Find Prospects database. So, use it sparingly because obviously we can only build so much. We're using a lot of data and a lot of information to really drive the right signals for you to get those sponsors. And then finally, like I said before, this is part of our IQ build of what you saw when we try to find more information is our partnership assistant. And this is super powerful. You can use anything within this chat to find new sponsors, to find businesses that align with your business, your values, your other lookalike and current sponsors, your location, any ideas that you have in terms of how to target those businesses within our database. And as I said, every day our database gets more and more data, and we'll be building this probably for the next few years, really, in terms of trying to find a mass amount of businesses that we can project to you. And you can use this for all sorts of different things. So use this as much as you can to really drive forward those sponsors. The next part is the outreach section. So we're going to go down to here now. And the first thing we're going to look at is LinkedIn. Now, I know LinkedIn isn't always as pretty and exciting as things like TikTok and Instagram, but for business relationships, LinkedIn is crucial. And this is one of my key expertise areas. I do quite a lot on LinkedIn, and I've built this around my knowledge and expertise of LinkedIn, how I build my own business with my own B2B marketing business. And you can, first of all, you can connect your LinkedIn profile directly into our system. So you can create posts from here. You can generate notes. So when you add a new contact to LinkedIn, you can also create a note that's AI generated to give you the best hook to be able to accept them. So if we look over here and we click on connection note, it will find for you a saved prospect, which we've already done in my saved prospects. We're going to find Jonathan at Cridfords. We're going to say generate note, and it's going to generate a note for us, which is in the character limit of LinkedIn, and it'll tell us how to approach them. You can copy that note, and then you can open their LinkedIn profile, and you can push that note to them when you send an add connection request. So that saves you a bit of time there. You can also use once you've connected to your LinkedIn, you can build LinkedIn post creators. Now, we use a framework around what we know really works on LinkedIn, great hooks, great ways to get people commenting and networking. And you have different topics that it will make you build. So you can say, I want to look at why sponsor motorsport. We can change the tone. We can give it some details. So we could say we finished P2 last weekend at Silverstone. And we generate the post. Bear in mind, you can do this with anything you want within LinkedIn. If you've got ideas for LinkedIn, drive it forward. It will help you build that forward. And there we go. So you can see that this post here has been created. It's used a framework that we know works. It tries to remove a lot of the AI sort of typed content from it, makes it very natural with language. And you can, if you click post to LinkedIn, it will literally fire straight into your LinkedIn straight away. You haven't got to do anything else with it. And you can also copy that post if you want to change it. You can also ask it to modify things. You can also schedule posts. Because LinkedIn is all about being consistent, sending posts a few times a week, giving that consistency to build your network and commenting. There are some notes at the top to give you some more advice on how to do that. But yeah, you can schedule posts in there. They will show up in your dashboard. So you'll be able to really jump in there and make sure LinkedIn becomes a consistent part of your network and your business future to find those leads. Let's talk about the pitch creator. So we have now created a prospect. We've found that prospect. We know all those bits and pieces about what makes them a good prospect. So now we need to build a pitch. We've already done the LinkedIn piece. We've done that connection with them. Now we want to be able to address them directly by email. You can either create a pitch manually by typing any business name you want and the decision maker, and it will build you a pitched email. Or even better, you can use the generate pitch from your prospects that sit in my prospects. So if we click up here to generate a general pitch, we click on Cridfords, which was the last one we found. We'll keep the tone professional. You've got different options. You can include your sponsorship package details or not. If you press no, it will say package from. It knows who our decision maker is. And we're going to click on generate pitch. So straight away, it's pulled up straight away who it is, what the person is. It finds synergistic points between the brand and who you are as a driver. So I've obviously used some demo data, but we've been able to build this through. It knows that the Porsche Carrera Cup is part of the British Touring Cars. It will find synergistic points for that pitch. You can then copy that email. We need to save that pitch because then we can actually generate it further, which I can tell you a little bit more about later on. And if you just click create email, you can choose any of your email apps, whether it's Gmail or Outlook or Apple, or you can just copy the body text and you can actually physically put this email and send it out. So from there, what we can also do is once we've contacted that, we go back to our My Prospects. We can say that we've contacted them, which we're going to put there in that box there. So next Cridford, we can also put in a follow-up date. Now I'm going to put in for next week, which from here is about the 22nd of April. If I click out of the box, it'll go green. It'll say it's added. That will now give us a follow-up time. And if I go back to my dashboards, it will tell me that I've got prospects due for follow-up. So keep an eye on your dashboard. So once we've created our pitch, we can then use it in different ways. We can create a PowerPoint presentation deck, which we can use in here. So we could basically, it knows it's already prepped our deck for us, our presentation deck. It creates a PDF. We can upload a prospect here, so their logo. So if we find Cridford's logo, we can upload it into this box here. The championship logo, so in our case, it's the Porsche Carrera Cup. You can also choose if there's a white background to remove it. Also extra race photos. Now I'd recommend really driving this again. So it'll use your pictures from your profile, but it will also drive photos from here. So it basically just means that you can really sell yourself and what you do. Have with your celebrations or your hospitality or anything you have that you can sell to a potential prospect, whatever it is. If you think there's value, add that picture. If you click generate deck, it will basically develop that deck and it will basically create everything for you in a nice PDF. And it will generate information around you and the synergistic points of that prospect. Now, it takes a little while to do, and it will also give you a checklist. So if we go to, I'm not going to generate the deck because it will take a while, but what it will do is it will tell us how good our deck is going to be. And again, to get the best from our presentation decks, you need to fulfill as much information as you can, because if your profile is empty or you miss images, you will find that the presentation deck will not look at its best. And you really want to make sure that it's all there. So of course, it's giving us the quality of the deck here. It's telling us what's involved with it. It's saying it's missing logos. I'm going to download the PDF and I'll show you what I mean gently. So it'll show you this PDF presentation. It's very simple, but it will give you information around that. And it's obviously using my generated, generic images. It tells us what we can get with the partnership. The color scheme is based around what you've got available and a few other things as well. So that is it pretty much in a nutshell in terms of how the presentation looks. Let's just jump back onto the page. So it can be quite a good tool, but it will need you to be able to get all that information and make it really sellable. Because even with using our AI tools and generating data, we can do so much of that. You still have to sell the integral parts of yourself. So that's that in a nutshell. We also have a great image guide here that gives you a bit more information about how to get the best out of the presentation deck. Next up is our press releases section. So we can actually create several press releases. If you're a pro driver or a team, you can make 10. If you are a starter driver, you can have about 3. So if we go to new press release, it will give you a template. We can use images from our profile or we can upload new ones. You can fill in however you need this to be, and it will give you a copy of the press release here. So it will basically build you an actual nice press release that can be on anything you want it to be. Once we've saved that, let me just save this one just so we don't spend a great deal of time doing it. We also have templates available for you to fill in here. Once we've got that, you can go and basically we can submit this into press distribution. In other words, if you're a pro driver or a team driver, you have the ability to submit your press release to about 29 or 30 different outlets and motorsport media across the country. This is expanding all the time, so we can automate your press release and get it right out there into the motorsport and journalist's piece. So a load of different things there that we can do for you in terms of just helping you generate your pitches, getting you more salesable and presenting you even more. Again, this is all falls down to the information you put in your profile, so always keep it updated. Another thing as well is the sponsor marketplace. You can go onto the you can go live on our marketplace, and effectively on our front of our website, if you go to the marketplace page, you will see our drivers on there. And that allows businesses to contact you using your information, and they will be able to send you inquiries. So it's an inbound lead system for you. So you might find that businesses will sort of think that you're interesting, you might be local to them, might be information that you can provide in your profile again that can really generate that. And you will get inquiries. So we've put an inquiry here from the Business E-commerce Intelligence, which is my B2B business. It'll also tell you if you've got ones that are late and outstanding. So you'll be able to get business inquiries. Now, if you are under 18, your parent or guardian will receive the inquiry and they will be able to approve or disapprove it. And yeah, it's a great little tool. It's easy and free for everyone to use. You can also show yourselves on the profile if you want to show your pricing or you don't want to show your pricing, and all your packages, all that information you can also do as well. At the moment, I'm not listed as myself because I'm not a real driver. I am just a nerdy guy who builds websites with AI. So yeah, that's a fantastic little addition as well to give you some additional marketing credibility. And as we grow Match NX, I'm hoping this will be a really big area for us. So next, let's go into the CRM. The CRM is the Customer Relationship Management Portal. This is basically how we keep on top of all your prospects. Now, this is a great little tool. So we're going to go back onto, we'll click on prospects contacting. It'll tell us that we're contacting the Porsche specialists. It knows we've sent the email pitch because we said we were contacting them in my prospects. I didn't say that we'd sent them a LinkedIn request, but we'll say we've sent them a LinkedIn request. It knows that we've got a follow-up date for our email next week. And we can add notes in here as well. So if he's come back to us or something has happened, or we can just keep notes and tabs and we can save those notes in there. We can also tick whether or not we've sent them the presentation deck, which you built before. And it just allows you to keep on top of these, really, and to see whether or not you have any prospect available to you. You keep a whole database of these, and our system will keep it updated for you. And also whether you had a reply, all these bits and pieces, and we're going to keep developing these tools as well. And we want your feedback into how to make them better. And then finally, onto the meetings booked side, if you go onto your My Prospects and someone has said to you, Cridfords has said to you, let's book in a meeting, let's get it ticked in there. You can put in your meeting dates. If we say it's going to be next week, we save that there. We go into our meetings booked, and it'll tell us we now have a meeting and the date. So it knows how well we are doing in the system. A few other things as well. Deal negotiation. This is something that Dan handles exclusively. So if you do get to the point of having a meeting or you need some additional help, you can book a session in with Dan who can really help take you to the next level in terms of your learning about how to sell yourself, how to develop your business, and you can use MatchNX as a real powerful tool to help develop your sponsorship. Finally, the help and training, which this video and other videos will sit in. We'll have loads of other bits and pieces in there. And then finally as well on your account. So remember, keep your My Profile up to date all the time. Anything that new that happens or something great happens, keep adding to it, because that will help develop the AI and help your business grow with our prospects database as that keeps growing. And it's just a synergetic, great thing. Keep on top of your profile. That's my number one tip. Finally, you can go into your settings. You can add email notification settings. You can look at your billing planning, and there'll be some other tools in here as well in settings. And finally, feedback, which we love having from you. Fill in this form for ideas, suggestions, any problems, bugs, anything you find, let us know, and I will get back to you with it so we can improve the system for everyone, and we can help to make your experience with MatchNX better, help you find some sponsors, keep you spending the time with what you enjoy doing, which is racing, and away from all this sort of businessy side. We want to make sure that this is the ultimate system for sponsorship platforms. And now we've got AI in play, we can really make that faster and make this better for everyone. So I hope that was a really good overview of our entire platform. There's also going to be a shortened version of this video, which will be on our help and feedback. It may also be on YouTube. We'll also put this into some documentation for you in email as well. Any feedback or sponsors. Bye now.